Okay everybody, so here we are back again, and you know, we spent the last month or so talking about that big giant SunTrax project.
Seems like more than a month.
It's like a year, I don't know, it's been taking forever. I'm sure you guys are sick of it. Anyway, we have all these other projects going on at the shop, right? So we just kind of wanted to show you guys what other stuff is happening right here, and then we wanted to go through a couple different departments. Now, you know, SunTrax took people from every single department to work on it to come together. You know, it was fabricators, welders, painters, vinyl guys, you know, like everybody, the installers, you know, everybody was working on that one project. Well, that happens a lot here in the shop, depending on what kind of project it is, who we're working for.
That's what I say. The cool jobs are the ones where everybody in the shop has a hand in. Every department does something. That's a really cool stuff.
Come over here and check this out. So we do a lot of work for this company right here. Everybody familiar with that,
you know who
right?
That is.
So this is the Amazon Smile. This is the prime Amazon Smile with the blue color, right? So we are working on these big Amazon signs, and what the guys over here in production, Victor and Scott, are doing is actually applying the vinyl to these acrylic pieces. So Dom was back on the router tables cutting these letters, and then we bring it up here, and Victor and Scott put this 3M dual color film on these letters, and then these letters get pushed through an aluminum face, which we'll show you a little bit more detail in a minute too. What's cool about this dual color film is it's black at daytime, but at night the light comes through and it turns these letters white. 3M pioneered this technology. It's great. We use it on a lot of products where people want a different visibility at night, because obviously black doesn't light up, you know, so to be able to have the option to light it white and have it black in the daytime is phenomenal technology. It's great.
But
so
don't forget, also on the back.
Oh yeah. So this is clear acrylic, and what are we putting on the back here?
He's got the Envision.
So Victor here has got the 3M Envision film. Now this is more recent technology, probably over the last 5 years. This technology was invented for LED lighting, and what it does, it's really just a diffuser. So all it does is diffuse the LED light that's coming out of the sign, and it makes it white or whatever color Envision film we would be using. Because otherwise, if you just put that on there and it was clear plastic, you'd see the light bulbs inside of the sign.
Each individual LED would show through there instead of spreading the light through the whole acrylic.
Right, so the LED light hits this Envision film and diffuses it out, so it gives us a nice spread of light, you know, on these panels. Cool? Come here and check these things out. Victor and Scott just got done making these as well. So typically most of the monument signs we make for Amazon all over the country are lit. They're lit from the inside, they feature that dual color film, and they light up. But this one has non-lit monuments as well. Now they're not quite as big, and they're all wrapped up, ready to go in the truck that's sitting outside right now waiting for us to load them up. But we wanted to show you guys the finished product before they left. So these are what? These are big aluminum poles. These are what, 5x5, 6x6 poles?
Yeah, 5x5 poles here.
Painted gray. Then this is an aluminum cabinet we made, non-lit. And then these are what, Rick? What are these letters?
That's a 1/2" type 1 PVC.
Yep. So a solid core PVC, very heavyweight. Dom once again cut all these letters on the router table. Then they go into the paint department. We sand them all up, get them prepped, get them looking nice and pretty, paint them black. And then Victor and Scott have a pattern, a vinyl pattern, and then they lay these individual letters on there, and we put it on with 3M VHB, which is very high bond, double-sided foam tape. And then we put a little bit of Fuse It. It's called Fuse It. It's a liquid construction adhesive that works great to really enforce the letters here. So we've got 1, 2, 3. There's a fourth one over there. So they go in the truck. They get shipped to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But while that truck sits out front, we don't necessarily have the 2 lit signs that go with this project ready yet. So let's go over in this department and see how fast these guys are getting this stuff done. All right, so we're going to look at these Amazon signs, but on the way, let's take a look at these cool ABC monument signs for ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, our #1 clients. And
this is a very good example of the difference between, these are channel letters and it's multi-levels, but the Amazon ones are pushed through acrylic, which is lit up a little differently.
A little bit different, right? So you guys have seen channel letters before. Obviously, people that are in the sign industry know what channel letters are. These are aluminum constructed. They got an acrylic face on them with a little trim cap that holds it to the letters, and then there's LED lights inside of that can that lights it up.
Right, well these ones also have a Lexan back, so the light goes out the back also. So we get this glow behind them besides having the face lit.
Yeah, so it's a really cool feature right here. You see the background pieces? This is transparent vinyl that we printed in these colors. And then the letters themselves, the back of the letters, instead of having aluminum back, they have a clear Lexan back that allows the light that's inside these letters to blow back towards the sign, and it bounces back and glows these 3 translucents. So from one light source, we get multiple colors.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Which is really kind of cool.
It is.
Got a little scratch right there. Got to take care of that
we're gonna
with the
have
new
to change
vinyl. Little things that you notice when you're looking through your signs, right? All right. So these are monument signs. This is the sign here, and this gets set on top of this base structure. And then it's really cool is the bottom here, once we install it, we install rock. It's like a split face rock, stacked stone around the base. It really gives it a nice classy look, and that's done at the very end once it's installed, because we don't want to add that stone weight to the sign while we're working on it. And then here's the second one, the same sign all put together, ready to go on a location.
It's a different location, exact same size, exact same sign. So that's what this will all look like with the stone on it when it's done out in the field.
Yeah, exactly. So we try to make these signs do them as big as we possibly can per the jurisdiction, and try to make them as similar as possible, because you want to create that brand awareness of the same, the whole company. All the signs should look exactly the same as much as possible. All right, come on, let's go over here to these Amazon letters.
Now.
Going back to what Victor and Scott were doing up there with those squares of acrylic with putting the dual color film on, here it is.
Yeah.
And it drops right into this aluminum face. Now this is the back of the sign, inside of the sign that we're showing you right now. Once this drops in there, or it pushes through that aluminum face, we use UV 4000 sealant that goes around this square and holds those letters in the piece, right? Come here, check this out. So once we're done, we flip this face over, and this is what the final product looks like. The acrylics that Dom cut on the router table is 3/4 inch thick acrylic. We route away most of it, so it just has that little shoulder at the backer of the letter, and then we push it through this aluminum, and look how thick that is. So not only do you get white light coming out of the dual color film, but this edge here, that's just pure clear acrylic, so that glows that light as well. So you get a nice light here and a nice glow around the letters that makes a really elegant looking sign.
Cool.
So here are these panels, 1/8 inch aluminum, pushed through acrylic. Now, these all fit into a cabinet or a monument sign that have the light insides of it, and these panels just slide in there, and then they light up the letters. Now let's go take a look at the actual cabinets themselves.
This is the edge lighting feature that goes on the side of the monument. So this is aluminum U-channel, and it's got blue ribbon LEDs down inside. And this gets mounted on the side of the cabinets over here, and you'll see how it gives a nice glow onto the white base of the cabinet.
Okay, and this has nothing to do with the lettering that we just talked about. This is just an accent feature, okay? And it's so super cool. Let's take a look at it right here. I mean, look at this crazy glow that we're getting on the edge of this sign, okay? So on both sides of this sign, now this sign's gonna stand straight up, and this blue is gonna glow on both sides of this aluminum accent bar here, and just gonna halo the whole sign in a nice bright blue. Has nothing to do with the letters. Now the letters are going in on the cabinet here, which will light up white. So when this thing stands up, you got beautiful black letters on a white background with this crazy blue glow around it. And it's hard to look at it here in this shop when it's laid down on its side. When it's standing up, it looks really great.
Lots of ambient light in here.
We got all the fluorescence shining down, so it's not quite as bright. But when this thing's out in the middle of a field and it's nighttime, man, this blue just glows really great. Tom, can you zoom in on there and show the detail of how that blue looks? Yeah, that looks so much better when he zooms in like that, right? Now, the other thing is, here's your blue light, and then right here, what it's shining on is blue painted. That's that Amazon Prime blue. So that blue is shining on the blue, which really makes it look blue. I don't know how else to say it. Really cool. Let's go over and take a look at one of these cabinets that's actually stood up. So here we are. Now this is the monument sign that was laid over there is now stood up over here. We got Dom still back on the router table, madly cutting the last remaining letters that go in this sign so that we can put them in the sign and get them on that truck within the next hour. So it's always this crazy rush, you know, to get these things done, right? Because this thing has to ship today in order to be in South Dakota on Friday when our guys fly in on Thursday night, and they're going to be installing them on Friday, Saturday, come back on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. Okay, so I just want to walk you through the sign real quick. Here's the big monument sign. Those panels with the letters that were pushed through slide into this T-bar. It holds, it says Amazon fulfillment right here. And then here is the directions that say like trucks to the left, visitors to the right, and then down here is the address of the building that they're, you know, that they're at. Okay? So those panels slide in here. Now the cool thing is here's that blue that we were talking about. Right here is that blue LED that's shining back on this blue. It's going to give it that nice halo glow, right? These little gray and dark gray accent deals just go on the ends. They just cap on there, and they're strictly for looks. They don't do anything but make the sign look really cool. And then we have those Hanley Stellar Edge Mini LEDs that are running along the bottom of this track and along the top of this track, and they flood this sign with light that's going to light those letters up. So you got this whole structure, you got the poles in here. So now when we get to this job site, Amazon already has these big 2.5 foot tall concrete bases that this sign sits on. So what do we do to install this to that base?
So we'll be drilling into the concrete and epoxying all thread to hold the poles. And once they get that attached to the base and they get the electric hooked up, then they slide the faces in. So that's one thing we learned. We do not ship the signs with the faces in it. We shipped the first one, and when it got there from bouncing around in the truck, just that little bit of movement was beating the paint off the edges of this. So we crate the faces separately, put them in when we get to the job site.
That's a really good point. All that vibration, they're driving from here to Denver, Dallas, Chicago, Fresno, Wisconsin, you know, all over the nation. And by the time they get there, all the hours of rattling around, they just dig up that paint, and then we're out there on the site touching up paint. So we said, no, from now on, now it takes a little bit more crating, it takes a little bit bigger truck, but we send this as one piece, and then all those faces go in a nice little rack.
Yeah, a little crate. They're all separated so they don't bounce against each other.
Yep. So it keeps all the faces nice and clean. The guys install this, they bolt it down to the existing concrete base, hook up the electric, slide the faces in, and walk away.
That's it.
So what the real question is there's a truck sitting out in our driveway, and he's waiting to get all 4 of these non-lit signs and 2 of these main monument signs in his truck so he can get on the road to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That guy's driving to South Dakota.
You got Scott standing over there next to the router table ready to grab that acrylic as soon as it's cut to get it over there and get that on it and get it back over to those guys to glue into the panels.
So literally, these arrows are the last pieces that need to be finished and placed into the aluminum panels on these sides. The cabinets and the trim pieces are all done. We welded in the poles, completed the wiring and the lighting, and they are ready to go. So now we just have to load the 2 monuments and the 4 non-lit cabinets and all the aluminum faces in this rack and secure them in the bottom of the truck for their transport to Sioux Falls.
Off to South Dakota.
Typical from the sign industry, right?
Always rush, rush, rush. We're always trying to meet these deadlines, and it's not like we're not working every single day on every single project. It's just when it comes down to it, and we got to have things on the truck getting ready to ship, we got to get it done. People waiting for us.
Today we have everybody in the shop working on Amazon.
Yep, exactly like that. If you cannot handle the stress of deadlines like that, don't ever get in the sign industry, because it's how it is 100% of the time.